Spider-Man, Brand New Day, trailer. Let's get into it. So, the first shot we see from the trailer is Spider-Man fighting the Scorpion, and then he starts losing, and then he goes beast mode. So, this scene right here is very interesting to me, because it seems that this scene takes place after Peter's powers are starting to manifest from in the cocoon, which means he's probably still like working it out. He's tripping and falling, and then he fights the Scorpion, which just makes it even worse because he doesn't really know how this organic webbing works. He knows that Toby had organic webbing, but he didn't really know how it actually worked. So the whole thing with Tom's beast mode right here is what I like to call it. His eyes become completely black, and he's basically just freaking up the Scorpion right now. Like, he's going rough. Some people are theorizing that he has like the symbiote inside of him because of that one scene in the first trailer where like one of his part of his arm was like black while opening the cocoon, and then his eyes turned fully black, and people are suggesting that the symbiote is deep within inside of him and he's just going rage mode. I really hope that's not the case because I don't want to see the symbiote like yet. It's a little too. I know Secret Wars is supposed to come out right after Doomsday and then Brand New Days, but it feels too early for like especially this version of Spider-Man. I get it, like it's popular. Black suit stuff is popular, but I don't know. I'd wait it out. Right after that, we see Peter watching another one of those TikTok, I believe that's what it is, or videos of Ned and MJ talking about their experiences in college. MJ asks Ned, who you think is watching this, and Ned says somebody, and she says, okay, well then bye somebody, and then it ends right there. That's a pretty brutal scene, I will say. Like, that's the only way Peter can really connect with any of these. We also see that in the first trailer too, with him also watching another video of Ned and MJ, like another live. That's really the only way he can stay in contact with them and like keep updated on what they're doing is from those lives. He's most likely the only person watching that entire thing, and it's really sad. It's sad. The next shot we see right after that is Peter hooking up his web shooters and then them just like flinging in the air. And right after that, we see him push out a web out of his wrist, revealing that, he has organic webbing, which is really, really cool. I will say that is a cool shot right there where he's squeezing it. It's also pretty disgusting too. Like, and also where's the hole at for Peter to shoot his wrist, because he had web shooters originally. So where's the hole? I don't know, but it's pretty cool. I will say, giving Tom's Peter organic webbing, of course, being based off the Raimi, and then there's also some Rebirth comics, like where Peter's in a cocoon and he gets organic webbing and stingers, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because Spider-Man doesn't kill people. But anyways, the next scene after that is Peter goes to Dr. Banner's class, which he attends. Dr. Banner, or Bruce, is attending a college as like a teacher, and Peter sees that, and he's like, oh, I'm going to sneak into this school and ask Bruce Banner to help me out with my mutation since he had his mutation. And then that jumps into the scene where Bruce talks about his thing. I don't know the actual name of it, but the thing he uses to control the transformation of the Hulk. That device. And he says, if this thing comes off, run. Which is, of course, foreshadowing something that happens later on in the trailer when Bruce goes, Savage Hulk mode and starts to attack. I also really like this scene between Bruce and Peter. It's a very cool moment. Like I said originally in my first thoughts of the trailer, having a connection between Bruce Banner and Spider-Man is really, really good because that's in the comics where Spider-Man helps out the Hulk sometimes. I don't really think he interacts with Bruce Banner too much. It's mainly Hulk, but I like that. It makes sense. They're both smart people, and it works. It very much works. Pretty much during this entire scene, it's Peter explaining about how Bruce can help him get rid of all the bad parts of his mutation, but keep all the good. And then Bruce says right here, how would you decide what parts of nature are good and bad? Now, I like that a lot. That's also a very good line too. Because I do think we're going to be seeing some strange mutations with Peter, and hopefully not the symbiote. I'd rather just see like all this upper strength that he's gotten just from him mutating and his body, his powers just enhancing, like his strength, organic webbing, possibly stingers. Who knows? This Spider-Man might get some stingers. And then the shot that they show us is Peter swinging around with his new organic webbing and sort of like not knowing the trajectory and bumping into water towers and all that stuff. And that's something we did not see a lot with Tobey's movie. We saw for like one scene where he got slammed up against the wall and fell, and then when he tries to get Uncle Ben's killer, he just learned that to shoot the web the other way. We didn't really see him knock into too much stuff when he first got his organic weapon powers. So it's nice to see that here, that Tom has to slowly get used to having this new organic webbing compared to his web shooters that he's had for, I believe, 9 months. As there was like a leaked script out there, and I believe it said like a 9-month time skip. So that's really interesting. And then this leads up to the next scene where Bruce tells Peter, "You're not one of my students, are you?" And then they have a little laugh about it. And I believe that this scene will lead up to Peter telling Bruce that he is Spider-Man. He's going through this mutation. He needs his help. Even though, like, telling someone your secret identity seems like a big mistake, but also Hulk is another superhero. It's pretty much his last resort here. He needs help. He can't just do this on his own. And then this scene leads up to the tank, Spider-Man sliding under the tank. And it very much shows from this movie that it's very much Insomniac Spider-Man inspired with how this tank scene goes between Peter, the Punisher, and the big, like, tank thing. And right after that, we then jump into the suited character, who people suspect that he is Miles Warren, aka the Jackal. Which, yeah, that'd make a whole lot of sense. I wouldn't have too much. Wait, is Miles Warren the Jackal, or am I stupid? I'd have to look that up. I might be thinking of the Spider Slayer. No, wait. I don't know. Either way, this guy in the suit is talking about this enemy that they can't see, this hooded figure, which could possibly be Jean Grey, or it could be Mr. Negative. I'm putting my money on that it's Jean Grey, but because these powers, it just doesn't seem like something Mr. Negative could do. Like, from what we see from this trailer, they're blowing up buildings, creating this huge sonic wave, stopping time, basically. Like, what other person can do that besides Professor X? Like, come on, people. We also see in this trailer that Spider-Man is the only one who's immune to this kind of thing, which... And yet again, we see the villain, switching from person to person, like mind control type thing, and we see Spider-Man swinging up to go catch on to the helicopter. Then, right after that, we get to the party scene, where Peter pretty much just walks into Ned and MJ's party, and he sees the wall of pictures of Spider-Man, and then Ned starts talking about him not being a creep, but he has pictures of Spider-Man. Something I also find really interesting in this trailer, I'm going to pull up a picture right here. They have the concept Spider-Man Civil War suit in one of the pictures, which is really... That's a fun little reference. That's fun. I like that. That's cool. Anyways, we keep going, and we see MJ come in, and then they do the friendly neighborhood joke, and Peter sees MJ's new boyfriend, which could possibly be Paul, but who knows. Then right after that, we see Spider-Man burst out from a building, possibly fighting the Scorpion, or another villain. Who knows? Then we see the villain of the movie say, like, you're still going through your mutation, which means this main villain knows that Peter is going through some sort of mutation, either from reading his mind or using other civilians to pretty much just spy on Spider-Man. And we also see the villain talk about how they're going to go after MJ, which then leads up to the scene where Peter finds MJ and tells her that, she's in danger and needs to save her. But then the next scene we see in the trailer is Spider-Man possibly returned back to Bruce Banner's laboratory. I think this is where this takes place is in either Bruce's home or lab. And we, of course, see Bruce Banner's control thing damaged and him transforming into the Hulk. The villain of the movie, possibly Jean Grey, turns Bruce Banner back into Savage Hulk, and this leads into a fight between Spider-Man and the Hulk, which it leads up to the joke of Spider-Man saying, I didn't know you could get that big, which is very, very funny. Very funny joke. I love that. It's great. Then pretty much the building gets completely destroyed, and this leads up to where Peter tells MJ, you're in danger, which is interesting that possibly, like, Ned might show up later on, but from what we see in the trailer, it's mainly just Peter and MJ and the Punisher who are going to be working together to take down the Hulk, the Scorpion, Mr. Negative, and the new villain. So that's interesting. Maybe the villain in the hood is Ned. Who knows? But we then see some swinging scenes with Peter and MJ, which look very, very nice. We see Peter talking with Frank Castle that he needs his help, and they need to stay down in one of Frank's underground places that he's in. And then we get to a shot where Peter looks very like sickly and exhausted, kind of like what we saw in the first trailer, where he kind of like fell down. In this trailer, we see him like falling down a building, possibly getting ready to either like stick on the walls or do something. So I think that this scene of him falling down in the building takes place before he passes out. And then the passing out leads to him being in the cocoon and all that stuff. So him falling down this building, I have no idea where this scene could lead up to. But I am interested to find out. Possibly after he leaves the party with Ned and MJ, he starts to feel a little woozy and something. Other than that, we see some scenes with we see a scene with Punisher and MJ, which is really interesting. Then we see the Hand show up in that prison with Spider-Man, who he's pretty much getting the ever-living crap beaten out of him again. And then his mask gets taken off, and he's going beast mode again, where he's basically just, he's still fighting the Hand, which is it's a very cool action scene. The action looks freaking fantastic in this trailer. After that, we see Spider-Man land down and pretty much just do a web barrage, like this man's in Marvel Rivals or something. Like, it's absolutely insane. This is a crazy freaking shot. We haven't seen a single Spider-Man do something like this. Like, senior praises to all the three Spider-Man, but this is the first time we've really seen them do some sort of like a spectacular spin, or the Web Blossom from the Insomniac games. And then the next shot after that is Peter back at Aunt May's grave, saying that he misses her, which is very, very sweet. That's a very like sad pull on the heartstrings type scene. Love that. Great. Right after that scene, we see a building collapse with Spider-Man and the Hulk, who is webbed up to the crumbling building. And then that leads up to the title, Spider-Man Brand New Day. The final scene of this trailer is Spider-Man doing some lunges, like stretching before he gets into a big fight, which this entire scene I absolutely love. This is just like pure Spider-Man, where he's just like, oh, I need a break. And then he just jumps straight into the action, which is absolutely fantastic. Love that so much. And then, of course, the date and time. Tickets on sale now. Very nice. Okay, so now I can give my individual thoughts about where this movie is going to lead to. So, what I think for this movie is, the main part is going to be is Peter is going to tell MJ that he is Spider-Man. Or the main villain, who's kind of like a telepath, maybe just knows about the stuff, like Peter's resetting the everything, making everyone forget he's Spider-Man. The villain could possibly find out about that from reading Peter's mind and knowing all that. And the stuff with Punisher looks really good. I can't wait to see Spider-Man and Punisher's banter. Peter's mutation, I believe it's going to lead up to some sort of Man-Spider. Something like that. It has to. Like, there's no way that this telepath villain is the only villain we're going to be seeing. We're going to be seeing Mr. Negative, Scorpion, Boomerang, the Arachnid, and possibly a Man-Spider we're going to be seeing. I've also seen some theories going around that Spider-Man's going to die in this movie. That they're going to claim that he's going to become, that Punisher is going to shoot possibly Jean Grey or someone else, and Spider-Man's going to take the bullet and die, or it's something else like that. I forgot what the theory. I saw it on Reddit, so it was pretty. But I mean, it could possibly happen. Like, they could just kill off Spider-Man and then bring him back with the symbiote. Would I prefer that ending? No. I would prefer if Brand New Day just kind of got a satisfying concluding ending, being like leading up to the new trilogy and Spider-Man showing up in Secret Wars. I don't think they're gonna kill off Spider-Man in his first movie of his brand new trilogy. It'd be ballsy of them to do that, sure, but I don't think they're going to do that. Also, I will say the side characters feel more depth here in this movie than they did in the other trilogies. Like, MJ and Ned actually feel kind of, they still have that same vibe like they did from the past of the movies, but they don't feel like, as useless or jokey as they were in Homecoming and Far From Home and No Way Home, where they were just pretty much the worst part of those movies. Like, especially No Way Home. They were definitely the worst part of No Way Home until, like, the very end, where they just said goodbye to each other. That was the only time I ever gave a crap about Ned and MJ. Other than that, No Way Home, first half's really a mess. It's really bad. Ugh. I like No Way Home, but man, the side characters. But my overall thoughts about this movie is I am very excited to see it. I will be seeing it in cosplay. I will be posting photos of it on my social media, so please look out for that. And I will be doing, when the movie comes out and after I've seen it, I will be doing a spoiler-only review. I will not be doing spoiler-free because I feel like I'm going to slip up and it's going to get really messy. So, expect that video to come out on possibly July, when the movie comes out, July 31st. After I'm done seeing that movie, I will definitely be talking about it. And I will make sure to give out spoiler warnings for everyone who's going to see the movie much later on. No, not everyone's going to see it on its release date, of course. So please look out for that. Also, be expecting a suit unboxing video of me reviewing the Halloween suit, Brand New Day suit, that I will be getting eventually. So yeah. Other than that, I have nothing really much to say about the movie. It looks fantastic. The suit looks fantastic. The visuals, the swinging, the practicals, all looks very good. I can't wait to see it. And yeah, that's really about it. So I will be seeing you Web Warriors later.